The Civil Rights Division is considered the crown jewel of the Justice Department. The career men and women who make up the Civil Rights Division are anchoring that crown jewel, and they are there regardless of administration to do the critically important work of fighting discrimination in every community in this country.
People may not understand that we are working hard every day to ensure compliance with the law, to ensure compliance with our civil rights laws in particular. That may not result in a splashy headline in the news, but it can result and does often result in significant changes in people's lives.
The one that stands out was in 2021. It was a case against the Cumberland Solid Waste Department in Tennessee. It was a sexual harassment charge that came to us involving 10 women who were alleging that their direct supervisor was sexually harassing them. It was actually physical assault. It was sexual assault, and over a period of time he was assaulting these women, mainly because they were vulnerable women. We came in and we were able to investigate and bring that case, and for $1.1 million that divided among those 10 women, changes to the Cumberland Solid Waste Department. These women really thought they had no recourse, that no one would listen to them, until we sent 2 lawyers to Tennessee to meet with them. Because we have jurisdiction in Civil Rights Division to criminally prosecute people, we referred the matter to the criminal section in the Civil Rights Division, and they prosecuted this individual, and he is now in prison for the acts that he did against these women.
One of the cases that is meaningful for me involved discrimination that occurred to Arab and Muslim tenants after 9/11. Arab and Muslim tenants living in the San Francisco Housing Authority were being subject to all sorts of violence, intimidation, and harassment. For instance, on the anniversary of 9/11, a brick was hurled through the window of one of their homes. Graffiti was spray painted on their homes, identifying them as Arab and Muslim, harassment, intimidation, all sorts of violence against them just because they're Arab and Muslim. And when they complained about it to the manager, he didn't do anything. And so the Civil Rights Division ended up filing a lawsuit on their behalf, and we ended up reaching a settlement that was ordered by the court that provided compensation for the families, got them alternative, safe housing, and changed policies and procedures to make sure it didn't happen again. And I think it's one of the examples of how the Civil Rights Division can adapt to a historic moment that causes discrimination and addresses that discrimination.
In 1999, the Supreme Court, in a case called Olmsted WLC, said something that was very simple, but also incredibly profound. And that's that unnecessary institutionalization of people with disabilities is discrimination, is a civil rights violation. One example I can give is a case, US v. Florida, which involved children with disabilities, babies, toddlers, adolescents who needed medical support, needed nursing care, and rather than providing that in families' home, providing that support to families in their communities, Florida chose to place those children in institutions, in this case, nursing homes designated for the elderly. So they lived their entire childhoods there, away from their families, away from, their neighborhoods and their communities. My colleagues went down, they spent years interviewing hundreds of family members who desperately wanted their children to live with them, and just needed the support that the state could provide. Ultimately, through litigation, Florida was required to make those changes, to change the way they approached people with disabilities and provide the supports needed so that those children can grow up with their families.
The current administration has just devastated the Civil Rights Division, and honestly, it has been completely heartbreaking. It has been painful. It has been anger-inducing to watch the careermen and women be thoroughly disrespected for their expertise, discounted for their work, having their cases some of which have taken years to build, be thrown out, discarded, dismissed. It's been pretty unbelievable, honestly.
This is not just a moment where we see the administration setting new priorities or putting forth new goals. This is an administration that is literally unraveling the hard work that has been carried out by the career staff of the Civil Rights Division. And from any issue, whether it's defense of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, our most important federal civil rights law, or standing up for crime victims, the victims of police violence, hate crimes. We literally are seeing the Civil Rights Division abandon its fundamental mission.
The challenge ahead is not to simply build back the Civil Rights Division as it was in January of 2025. If that's all that happens, it'll be a failure. Because what we have regrettably learned is that they came in, they wanted to eviscerate norms, they have done that. They wanted to ignore laws, they have done that. And what we have to do now is make sure we can rebuild a Civil Rights Division that embodies those norms, but fortifies them so that future administrations who have nefarious motives are unable to carry them out.
Well, Dr. King talked about the need to ensure that we're always bending that arc towards justice, and it is the mighty hand and the brilliant mind of the career staff of the Civil Rights Division who have helped to do just that. For decades, they have labored and they have toiled to bend that arc towards justice. They have worked to ensure equal justice under law for all, and without them in place right now, our nation suffers. But I have full faith and confidence that we will have an opportunity to rebuild and to get back, and that the career staff of the Civil Rights Division will be the very first ones to raise their hands.